So racism, is racism targeted to one race, or racism is targeted to all races, and it's a way of dividing people so they can fight and kill each other? This is my intake on racism. And I'm going to talk about personal experience, but I'm also going to talk about personal experience, but I'm also going to talk about what I see that's going on in the world. So when I was growing up, I had a lot of family members. They were mixed, like I had, because I was adopted. So I had a Puerto Rican, Italian sister, Haitian, siblings, Jamaican, Indian. My stepmother was from India. Her religion was Hinduism, Christianity. So it was a lot of different cultures that I was brought up with, and I grew up. And one of the things that I was taught was to hate black women, and I was taught to hate black people and the black culture, because the black culture was dirty. Just to be black is dirty. Like it means dirt. It means that you're poor. It means that you're ugly. It means that you're worse than scum. And your skin color means the color of the pavement. That's what I was taught growing up with my family members. And this was embedded in me. But I always had a sense of, in me, like, all people should be treated equally. And for a long time, like, I had a way of thinking on my own. I didn't just accept and took that as my belief system. But for a long time, I would say this: I would never date black women because I felt as, they were very violent, because the way they would carry themselves. And I just had this fear with black women. And I'm gonna be honest, for quite some time, I felt that way. Like what I was taught when I was a kid. But it took many years for me to let that go, because there were moments when I saw there are good black. There are some. It's not all black women are like that. There are few. Out of everything, there are a few good. I would not date any black women in this country, to be honest. There's just a lot that comes with it. I dated a black girl like last year, and I will never ever do that again. Like, I would never date a black girl ever in my life. Like, I just the pain, like the pain that came with it. No. But do they have few? Yes, they do. Now, let's get into this racism thing. So at my job, there's a couple managers. There's a Hispanic one, there's a white manager, 2 white managers, and there's a black manager. I work in the stock room in the morning. In the back stock room, there's a black manager. He's in charge. So he tells a lot of Hispanic and a few black people. He tells them to do something, and they're always fighting him. They're always looking at him funny, or they're telling me to do something else. And they will hear him talk, but they just don't listen. And then when he gets upset and he talks to, let's say, whoever, a bunch of the Hispanic people will attack him, telling him he's wrong. And I would look at them like, yo, no, he's not. Like, he's trying to get the job done. He's trying to find a way so everyone can work together. And your guys are trying to control things, and you emulating, and based on your energy, what I'm feeling and what I'm sensing from you, you're trying to show that you're better than him. Like, he has no right to speak his mind, to speak what is right, because you feel like you're superior. Like you come in, you think you just take over and do what the hell you want because you're better. And it's ingrained in your mind. That's what you have in your mind. And what other races, like even Muslims, Arabics, I've seen that too. Like if you were to try to have a conversation, I'm black, I were to try to have a conversation with them, they will look at you funny. There's only a few of them that's open-minded. They will look at you funny. It's very hard to date them, or it's like they feel like their religion makes them better than you, and the way of thinking is very crazy. And I would say this about religion: any religion that puts you against another religion, that puts limitations or guidelines or rules, it talks about love, but at the same time, it separates people. If a religion says we're supposed to love all, treat everyone equally, but at the same time, because of their religion, they can't be with you or they can't be around you, right? Then that religion is flawed, because we are not different from each other. We are all the same. We are all going through an experience in this game called life. What makes us different? Each and every one of us on a different path, different mission, or a different level of spirituality, different level of consciousness. But deep down, we are all the same. Because if you strip away the flesh, right? If you strip away your intellect, everything that's physical in this non-3D world, what do you have? You have the soul, the light that's inside the body, your consciousness, whatever you may call it, that's inside of you, right? So before you came from what? The one, or they may call it the creator, God, or whatever. But we all came from the same place. Maybe some of us came from different dimensions or whatever, but we all are the same. So when people say, like, even like black, there's racism against black people, there's racism against Indian people, there's racism against Chinese, there's racism against white people. If you look, there's racism against all people. And you have to ask yourself, why is this? Why do we have racism against all people? And I'm going to make another video. This other video is going to be longer, going into detail so people can understand that this is set up this way. We are set up to hate each other. We are set up to hate one another, because if we hate each other and fight each other, we can never figure out and see the real enemy out there. We can never see, because if we understand we are all one deeply, not you understand it in the mind, or you understand it, oh, religion says, but you do the opposite because of belief system. If you understand internally and in your heart, in your soul, you understood that on a deeper fundamental level, then you will understand religion, school, all that bullshit wouldn't matter, okay? Because at the end of the day, it comes to morals. It comes to what's right and what's wrong, right and wrong, and doing the right thing. If you want someone to treat you accordingly, you treat that person the same way you want to be treated, period. You don't make excuses. You don't justify your way of thinking, your sick, twisted, logical way of thinking. Or I'm better than you because I'm black, or I'm white, or I'm this, or all that bullshit don't make any sense. Because every time you reincarnate, you can become any person you want. And the fact that people think that reincarnation don't exist, that's sad. You can be any form you want to be. You can take on any form. What is physicality? Physicality is just a state slowed down. Think of the Flash, right? He vibrates so fast that he becomes non-physical. He's no longer physical. He becomes spiritual. He can phase through objects. Anything that's solid. You can never pass through something solid if you're solid. You can't do it. So how can you pass through it if you're non-physical? If you're light enough, if you are conscious enough, if you are spiritual enough, if you're light enough or strong enough to pass through it, the object, you have to be very light, a soul, consciousness. So all this race war, all this, it's all set up. People need to understand that we are all one. We are all equal. And at the end of the day, that's what matters. Okay? All races have to come together and love one another. Religion can only get you so far. This is why I gave up religion when I was a kid. Because I knew that religion kept me in the box. Hinduism, Christianity. I was part of that religion for quite some time. Christianity, and other things. I felt like I had to give it up because it only got me to a certain point, and a lot of people killed under the name of God. You know, I did this because of God, because of Allah. No, if you said God is so holy, God is so pure, and God is full of light, love, and beauty, and understanding, why would you kill another being? Why would you kill under the name of God? Then that is no God. That is a devil. Any being that calls himself a God and kills another being and justify that they did it for that being, they are a devil. And they are lying to you. So this is why I can never be a part of any religion. I can never justify those ways of thinking. They are not for me.